I didn't have time to go through all the questions, but the two words, powerful words that I wrote for my future me are self-confidence and the opposite of not being enough, which is enough.
Enough. Now, wow. So if you were being confident and really believing you're enough, what are some actions you'd be taking?
I would actually continue what I started doing, stop procrastinating. I'm an avoider by definition.
Yeah.
I recently found that about myself. And it's one of the, let's say, behaviors or mentalities that I struggle to change by doing incremental change. So I push myself daily to just get out and do what I want to do and accept being vulnerable, which is my biggest struggle right now. I find it not being very easy to accept being enough. It comes with a lot of vulnerability, and I struggle finding courage in myself all the time.
Wow. So can I just ask, like, when it comes to being vulnerable, what's the underlying fear?
Not being liked or not being loved. It depends on the context.
Yeah. And what would that be like for you, not being liked by everyone?
Right now is my biggest fear. I'm a pleaser and an avoider, not only an avoider, but also a pleaser. This is my pattern. This is how I dealt with my life so far. And I just decided that I want to stop doing that. It's not the reality that I want to continue living. But it's not easy to just get rid of fear. So it's a process. I'm going through this process, and there are good days and bad days, or not that good days, let's say.
Patricia, do you remember a time? Do you remember a time, like a really specific time where you knew that there was somebody that didn't like you? They made it known that they didn't like you?
I suppose so, yes. Or at least a moment when I felt that that person really doesn't like me, yes.
Yeah. When did that happen?
When?
Yeah.
Well, actually, when you asked the question, I thought back in the past, but now that I'm answering, I just realized that even today I have the feeling that I wasn't so pleasing to someone. And somehow it felt easier today because I'm in a process of just letting go the need of being likable. But it was quite hard a couple of years ago when the other situation actually happened. It came with a lot of anxiety and stress.
Yeah. So consider you're still hanging on to that anxiety and stress, and you not putting yourself out there is protecting you from having to deal with that again. Now, what would it take for you to get that situation really complete so you can leave it in the past?
You mean something that I could do today to just disconnect myself from that past situation?
Yeah. See, because it's not actually in the past, it's the future you're stepping into. See, because you're still impacted by whatever happened to you in the past, which has you put on the brakes from showing up powerfully inside of your coaching business. So if you can actually make that complete, close that door, it'll allow you to release those emotions and feelings and move forward.
Well, to be honest, I don't know how to do that. That's the answer, or that I'm struggling with. This is what I would like to find the answer to.
Okay, so everybody, I'm going to ask you to hold some space. Patricia, would you like to work with me to have a breakthrough?
Sure.
Now, everybody, do you mind holding some space for her to have a breakthrough so she can like get this out of the way so that she can be free to grow her coaching business? Awesome. Good. Okay. So Patricia, what happened?
Sorry to
I remember a time when I acted in a way that I don't even recall exactly what was it that I did, but I remember that one of my peers came into my office quite tensed and somehow told me that she would have expected to go straight to her and have a face-to-face conversation before me doing or saying or whatever happened then. And I remember I got the strength of standing up for myself.
Yeah.
All the residual feeling was inside of me, and it was there for quite a long time.
Yeah. So what was that feeling or emotion that you experienced?
What was that feeling?
Yeah. What was the experience, the feeling, the emotion in that moment? What were you feeling?
I was quite, what was that feeling? On one hand, I was angry with her. And in the same time, I was scared of doing something wrong or being guilty of something,
Okay, great. So tell me, go back further. When else did you have the experience of like doing something wrong? Where you got in trouble?
And you want me to use another example, or is it enough to just?
Yeah, no, because see, this experience was reactivated by something else from the past, probably in your childhood.
Definitely. Yeah, I know all about it already. I know what I mean, the feeling and me becoming a pleaser and an avoider has everything to do with the relationship between myself and my mother. She's a controller, very exigent, very difficult to please. So then as a child, my behavior was to try to do everything that I could to, I don't know, protect myself in a way that catered for her emotional needs mostly, let's say, putting my own emotional needs aside.
Yeah, so notice when that situation happened with your colleague, it was just re-triggering old emotions from earlier. And so what do you need to let go of from your childhood that you're still hanging on to?
Probably the need to, or the impulse of taking care of the others' feelings, I guess.
And when it comes to taking care of other people's feelings, you made a decision about yourself. What was that decision that you made?
That I'm less important or I'm not good enough.
And is it true that you are less important or not good enough?
if I say yes, it wouldn't be the truth, because there are moments when I still struggle in accepting that I'm enough.
Right.
I still struggle with this.
Yeah, because you know how we went through the beliefs about yourself, the belief about others, the belief about your business, that shaped your reality. So this
Yes.
need to please and this need to put others' feelings ahead of yours, you made a decision that what you have to say doesn't matter. Your feelings don't matter, others do. Now, how you've been living life, and just have a look, consider that you've been looking for evidence that that is actually the truth.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Now, did you see that showing up in other jobs, in relationships?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
what's the impact of that way of being inside of your coaching business?
I think the positive impact is that I'm actually perceived as being very empathic and positive, and having strong listening abilities, and being kind and protective, and creating the space for the client. But on the other hand, so I'm good in the relationship when it's established, but it prevents me from actually building the business and building the portfolio, because there is always doubt in my head that I'm good enough to be able to grow this business.
Yeah. And you see how that works when this story from, dealing with your mom, and notice your mom had a positive intention, right?
I don't doubt that she had any but positive intention.
Yeah. And consider you just made up a story about who you have to be.
Yes.
And you're still hanging on to that story. But the beauty is, because you've created the narrative, you can rewrite it.
Yeah.
Now, are you willing to rewrite
it? Fake it till you believe it, right?
Fake it till you believe it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm in the process, as I said earlier. So I hope I'll keep up the good work.